This is how my $0 AI agent automates my Zoom calendar, and honestly, it's stupid easy to set up. I was wasting hours every single week setting up Zoom meetings, copying links, and inviting the right people. And as you know, this stuff doesn't really move the needle. So I built an AI agent to handle all of it. One command and it schedules, sends, reminds. And the kicker is that it's completely free to set up as well. By the end of this video, I want to show you a live demo, how the workflows and prompts work, and also how you can use this yourself to start clawing back several valuable minutes every single day. Stick around, because once you see how easy this is, you will ask yourself why you haven't done this months earlier. If you're new to the channel, then welcome. My name's Liam. I help businesses all over the world to implement advanced AI phone agents into their companies. So if you'd like to explore how we can do the same for you, just use the first link down below to book a free AI consultation call. I look forward to hearing from you, and now let's dive into the video. Alright, let me show you a live demo of what this sounds like. So all you need to build this is make.com and Vappy, and I've also created a little mock contact database here in Google Sheets. Of course, you could connect this to your actual contact list on your phone, but for the demonstration, this will be enough. So let's, without further ado, give this AI a call. You can, of course, also attach this to a phone number if you like. I'm even currently working on integrating something like this with Siri, but for now, let's just activate and talk to this on Vappy itself.
Hey, this is Jacob, your personal assistant. How can I help you today, Liam?
Hey Jacob, how's it going? I'd like to schedule a Zoom meeting for tomorrow at 3 p.m, please.
I'm doing great, Liam. Thanks for asking. I'll help you get that Zoom meeting set up right away. Who would you like to invite to the meeting?
I'm going to need to invite 2 people. Let's go with Simon and Justin, please.
Got it. Tomorrow at 3 p.m., inviting Simon and Justin. What's the topic of the meeting, Liam?
Yeah, we're going to make the topic of the meeting, let's make it talking about new AI applications for the healthcare industry. Oh, and also, just so you know, it's going to be around maybe half an hour long.
Perfect. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. with Simon and Justin, discussing new AI applications for the healthcare industry for a duration of 30 minutes. Does that sound good, Liam?
That sounds good. Schedule it.
Okay, fantastic. Your Zoom meeting has been set up, and everyone has been notified via email as well. Let me know if you need anything else, Liam.
Great. Thanks. Bye-bye. And that was it. That's done. The AI even hangs up by itself. As you can see now, I'm talking, but it doesn't. The call has ended, basically. And the cool thing is now, if we go onto this here again, I'm going to blur out this email. But we have Lumina Digital. That was the one from Simon, which is this account that I'm on right now. As you can see, if we open the email, new AI applications for the healthcare industry, even set a meeting password, and I've now got the Zoom link. And then if we go on to the second email, which I'll blur out, and then as you can see here, we have a new email, AI applications for the healthcare industry. It's got a password as well and the meeting URL. Pretty cool. I think you can see that this can be very useful, especially if you've got your hands full. Maybe you're in the car and you want your personal assistant to schedule Zoom meetings for you. This is very, very handy. And of course, you don't need to stop here, right? You can get the AI to do so much more. You can get it to send emails, update your calendar. This is just, we're just scratching the surface. The things that I build for clients sometimes are, this is a very, very basic workflow, but it can get a lot more complex. And I just want this to be a very, very simple example that you can understand and then start to, get your mind whirring on where AI could take you. Because, yeah, as you'll see in a moment, this is not very hard to build, and the leverage that you get from it is quite substantial if you use it in the right industry. All right, so now that you've seen a live demo, let me show you how to build one. So we're going to do 2 things. I'll show you how this make.com workflow works and how this Vappy agent is set up. I won't go into every nook and cranny of Vappy or make.com. I've made plenty of tutorials on how to write a good prompt, how to use Vappy, but I'm going to give you the basics of what you need to build this. So first of all, let's start with the AI agent in Vappy. So if you've never even touched Vappy before, don't worry, just have a listen and you'll understand how a lot of this works. What you can do is click Create New Assistant. We're going to just call it something random and then create a blank template. This blank template will then lead you to a site that looks just like this, but you need to configure a few settings. So I'll walk you through from top to bottom and show you how I've set this up. For the model provider, I just always pick OpenAI and GPT-4o cluster. It's just worked best for me. For the first message, I like the AI to speak first with this welcome message, but there's a few different options for you to play around with. Now for the prompt, as I said, this won't be a prompting tutorial, but I want to go over the basics. So basically what you need to do is you have a few sections in this prompt. You have the role, which basically gives it an identity, telling it you're Jacob, an expert Zoom meeting creation assistant, and so on. The context, telling it why is somebody calling and what do they want to talk about on the call. Step by step, this is also called chain of thought prompting, basically telling the AI first do this, then do that, then do this, then do that. It's just a very, very good approach and a very solid approach. Guidelines and specifics, you can add things in here. This is a very simple agent. We probably wouldn't even need half of these things, to be fair, but it's good for you to see the sections anyway. Pronunciation is important. If you have the AI, for example, repeat an email back to you or list phone numbers, you want it to pronounce them like this with the spaces in between, because otherwise it'll try and say all of the digits at once, and that just causes chaos. Next, you can give it some examples, and then also the tone and style, telling it you're friendly, you're concise, you're professional, and so on. And then we've got the closing call structure, telling it when am I allowed to end the call. And then in the notes section, I've added the current time variable. If you don't know how to find this, you can go to the VAPI documentation and then ask AI, how do I find the current time variable, and it'll give it to you. As you can see, this is time zone specific. You can also get this to operate across many different time zones, but that's a different story. And this is important because we want this AI to know if I say something like, I want a Zoom meeting for tomorrow, it should know that today is, in my case, the 1st of the 6th, 2025, because these AI models, they're going to still think it's 2023 because that's just the data that they've been trained on. Okay, so your prompt is done. For this very basic example, we don't need to play around with many other settings. You can play around with the voices. There's tons of voices on 11 Labs for you to choose from. For example, I also like the VAPI voices. They sound great. For the transcriber, leave it at DeepGram. Nova 3 is great. English or multilingual, both is good. Then we're going to get into the tools section, and this is where your agent actually starts to become useful. Because at the moment, everything up until this point is just talking, where it's like ChatGPT with a voice. It's useful, but it can't actually take real-world actions. The tools take the AI out of its little box and into your actual softwares. We have two tools, the Zoom end call and the schedule call. The end call function is just basically there for the AI to be able to end the call itself. A couple quick notes on this. Give it some very specific instructions when to end the call. And I also like to do this, adding a message for, it'll say request complete. I've already selected this, but if you haven't got this, then it'll say request complete. And then add a message that it should say when it uses this call, when it uses this tool, and then click end the call after this message is spoken. This is just a little hack to avoid it saying goodbye, and then you say goodbye and it says goodbye again. It just sounds weird. So when it says goodbye, it's just going to hang up basically. Second is the Zoom schedule. So in here, to create one of those, you want to click on create new tool function, and then there's going to be a few fields for you to fill out. So first of all, we're going to give it a name and then a description of when to use this tool. And in every AI agent I build for clients, there's going to be more than one tool. So the description is key, because now the AI agent can decide, shall I take this tool, or how many of these tools do I need to use to actually complete a task? So in this case, use this tool to schedule a Zoom meeting as a good description. Second part of the tool calls are the parameters. These are little fields of data that it extracts from the conversation and plugs into your make.com scenario for you to use. So to set one of these up, you click on add property, then you give it a name, for example, topic, and then a description. And this can be something like extract, and this is like a little mini prompt, right? Extract a topic from conversation for a new Zoom meeting. And now the AI, also by the way, click on required. I don't know why you wouldn't click on required, but just click on required. It's always good. And yeah, so basically now it extracts this little piece of information and can send it across to a server, and you configure this with a server URL. So if you go onto make.com and you've made an account, you will click on, let's actually do this way from the beginning. You click on create a new scenario. That'll get you here. And then you want to choose webhooks. And then don't choose mail hook or response, choose a custom webhook. And then you click on add, you give it a name, and then you're going to copy this address to your clipboard. That's this one up here. Copy that and you paste it into your tool call. All right. And now we're going to send information. I'm going to delete this again. Now we're going to send information to this scenario here in make.com. So this little module receives that data. It receives the topic, the duration, the start time, the participants. And it's also good for the start time, for example, to say in UTC formatting, for example, so that it's in the right format. Great. So once that data is received, this thing right here, I've just added a random password generator using this formula. And then what you want to do is you click on, you can choose from so many different apps here. I've just clicked on Zoom and then on, where is it? Create a meeting. And you'll want to actually connect this up. So if you haven't got a connection here, you click on add connection and then you log in with your Zoom account, basically. It'll ask you to log in. And once that connection is made, delete this again. Now you can see in here, we have different fields. And this is quite cool because now we've got all this data on the right here, which got sent across from the agent. And we can now fill that into this Zoom module. So as you can see, we have the topic that gets sent across. We have the duration in minutes, which got sent across. The start date and time gets sent across. And the password we already generated over here. And as you can see, now we can map these pieces of data from our conversation into a module, which will actually take a real world action for us. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to iterate over the participants. Now, what this means is if there's more than one participant, it's going to repeat these steps for all of them. So first of all, now we've created a Zoom meeting, right? But we don't know who to send it to yet. That's why we told the AI we're going to invite Justin and Simon. Once again, I'm going to blur out Justin's email. And now what we do is we connect this up to this Google Sheet. We ask it to search for the name, right? And the name is just basically another word for the participants, which we've set up here, we've configured in the iterator. It'll search for that, and then it'll get the according email. So now we've gotten it from a name into an actual email address to use. And in this case here, what we've done is we've now used the email module. You can also use Gmail. I use Outlook to send a meeting about meeting topic, right? Which was also once again one of the variables that, in this case, it's the Zoom variable, but you can also just use the agents variable. Correct. Then we have the start time, telling the person when it will start, telling the person how long it'll be. The join URL, you configure that in the Zoom module, because now this is the Zoom module here. As you can see, it's blinking up when I hover over this. And now we have all of these pieces of information, like the join URL, which we can just drag into here like this. And now that gets sent in the email along with the password. And the email address to send this to will then be the email that we got from the Google Sheet. And the name is also the name of the participant. Okay, so I think you get the idea now. We can use AI to extract pieces of information from a conversation, send that to a separate server to then take real world actions. In this case, it's almost, it's like a toy, right? It's nothing too useful yet. But the clients that we work with, for example, I've just closed a shutters and blinds company in California, and we're working on basically helping them out because they're struggling to actually handle all of their calls. And the receptionist is overwhelmed. She can't handle every single call, which is why an AI agent like this can take over. And then when somebody calls, it can choose the tool to, let's create a new meeting, or let's send an email, or let me see if I can schedule an appointment for you with one of the technicians. So there's so many things you can do. And hopefully now you can understand a little bit of the the workings behind an AI. It's not mystery, it's not magic, it's cleverly packaged automation, which can be leveraged to save a lot of time and money for businesses. Alright, so I hope you got some value from this video. If you have any more questions, you can just leave them in the comment section down below. I answer every single one. And if you want some more in-depth advice, you can use the first link down below to book a free AI consultation call with me. I look forward to hearing from you, and I'll see you in the next one.